cross crawl. Stay tall. Don't allow your hips to tuck under, tailbone long to the floor.
Lateral cross crawl. So standing nice and tall, opposite arm to leg as we step, tap the thigh. Staying nice and tall, think about drawing your tailbone down towards the floor. Eyes are looking forward.
Shoulder cars. You want to find a nice neutral standing posture, slight arch in your back, both feet flat on the floor. I'm going to spread my fingers and lead with my thumb as I circle my arm around. Right about here, I'm going to switch and my pinky's going to lead the way. And notice I'm not really turning into that. So you're going around, but you're not rotating your body. Torso stays there. Sometimes putting a hand on the rib cage is helpful. You don't want to elevate the rib cage. We want to keep, now I'm going to lead with my thumb, go the other way around. And again, kind of rotate. There, okay? So keep your circle at a range of motion that's comfortable for you. If you have a little shoulder problem, it might be a much smaller range of motion where you're not feeling any pain. No pain. Hip cars. You may need to stand holding onto something, and that's just fine. So you could have one hand on the back of your couch or touching a wall. And from here, I'm gonna lift my knee up and I'm gonna rotate. I'm trying to rotate from my hip. So again, I've got a nice neutral spine. My knee is bent, and I'm gonna make a nice big circle without, tipping into it if possible. So standing tall, and then I'm gonna circle in the opposite direction. I'm just trying to get range of motion. It's called CARS, controlled, articulate range of motion work, okay? So you're gonna do both sides. And again, keep things pain-free and hold on if you need to. For a standing quadricep stretch here, again, you're probably gonna wanna hold on to something. You can hold on fingertips on a wall, like I'll do that right here. Just gonna put my left hand on the wall, take my right foot up behind me, and by tipping my pelvis forward here, I'm gonna get a big stretch in the front of this leg. So for some people, this can be really uncomfortable on the knee. You don't wanna pull so hard that it is, okay? So you may be very tight in your quadricep muscles, in which case you may need to grab like a mini band and put that around your foot. That's super awkward for me, but if you can do that, okay? And then you might end up here rather than so close, okay? So don't pull too hard, just wanna feel the stretch in the front of that leg. For the doorway pec stretch, we're gonna wanna find a doorway, like a door jamb, so that you can put your forearm up against the door jamb. And then you're gonna just walk through the door and you're gonna feel the stretch here. You can do both arms on either side if you want. If you have shoulder issues, you may find that just being more aware and taking it slower, just doing one side at a time, you can be a little more cautious with your shoulder. You wanna feel the stretch right here. You don't wanna lean into it and hang there or overstretch, okay? So you should be able to hold your position with your forearms on your door with a neutral spine and the rib cage back. So we don't want to flare the ribs and throw our head back and all of that, okay? So it should just be a place where you can still freely breathe. Again, breathing super important. You're gonna get a better stretch if you can breathe through it. So if you're holding your breath because it's too intense, back off, okay? A hip flexor stretch with a diagonal band pull. So I'm gonna step my right foot back. We're gonna be stretching out our right hip flexor. I'm gonna soften my knees. My front knee is stacked right over the ankle. I'm gonna tip my pelvis up. I'm gonna take my band, so I have about 12 inches between my hands, and I'm gonna, on my exhale, I'm gonna pull the band. Inhale back. Exhale long. Inhale back to center. And we'll do both sides. For a standing hip flexor stretch, we want to step one foot forward and we want to be on the ball of our back foot. I don't have my feet really wide split, just a little bit. Weight on both of them. In this position, I'm going to soften my front knee a little bit. And I'm going to tip my pelvis forward. Now I'm feeling that stretch right here. So a big pelvic tilt, and then you can reach this arm up to accentuate the stretch and even a little bit over your head. You're gonna inhale deep and exhale long. And you should feel the stretch right there. Awesome. Wall marches. Hillary's gonna bring that knee up, but what she's really doing is driving down with the opposite foot. So she drives down with the right and she brings the left knee up. She's got her hands actively reaching and pressing into the wall to help her stay core engaged. Little pause at the top. Really try to feel your glutes as you do this exercise. A 2 dumbbell lateral squat. So Hillary's gonna take her feet out wide. And she's got both toes pointing forward. She's got 2 dumbbells and she's gonna hinge her hips back and come to one side. The dumbbells are just coming to either side of the knee or just below the knee. Standing tall in between. She's gonna do all her reps on one side and then all her reps on the other side. So the hips are hinging back. Once again, you're thinking control through your core and through your pelvis. Your belt buckle's pulled up. You're working your abs and your legs. Single leg Romanian deadlift. Hillary's gonna soften her knee and reach her opposite leg back. You can see how her hip is going back past her knee. So she's pushing into her butt, her back foot is flexed, and her hips are level. So that right hip might want to angle up. You're going to keep both hips facing forward and come down. Using your glutes and hamstrings, press through the floor, come up. 3-way ankle mobility. So standing at a lean into the wall, you're going to step forward, big step, bend the knee, shift your weight forward. You should feel a stretch. We're looking for the back calf ankle area to feel a stretch. You're going to do 2 in each, or 6 in each position. So 6 steps forward, 6 steps laterally out to the side, and then 6 steps across your midline to the opposite side. Band pull aparts. So you want to stand with a nice neutral spine, find your tailbone underneath you, rib cage and pelvis are stacked. With long arms, you're going to stretch the band out. You want to feel the work in the back of your body between the shoulders. So notice Hillary's not going to go out that far. Her hands aren't going to come all the way out to her sides. She's working her back. Very little arm work here. You will feel some, but we want to work between the shoulder blades. Standing YTIs. So I'm going to stand here with a neutral posture. We're going to be moving our arms, and when we do that, we want to spread our fingers. And as we spread your fingers, reaching down to the floor, you should feel that transition, that by spreading your fingers and being really active through the hands, you feel that all the way up into the shoulder, how that impacts your shoulder. So we're going to exhale up, bring our hands to a Y position. Inhale and exhale. Now we're going to bring our hands to a T position from here. So on the Y, you can go here, you can go all the way as far as you can without letting the rib cage flare. So I was going kind of low. So breathe in, exhale up. If you can get all the way up here, that's great, okay? Then for your T, you're going to start in front, exhale, open. Inhale, close. Exhale, open. And we're just feeling the shoulders moving, just to warm up here. And then lastly, the I. And for the I, you're going to inhale here and then exhale to bring your arms all the way up overhead without shrugging your shoulders and without flaring that rib cage. So keep that rib cage heavy toward the back of your body. You may find it's a little bit of a challenge for your shoulders, and you may not get all the way overhead. One thing to remember is that your breath is super important. If I hold my breath and try to do a shoulder mobility exercise like this, so if I get really tense, like, and then try to move my shoulders, my arms will not go overhead, okay? So really important, nice free floating breath. Let that breath move through your rib cage. Breathe in, exhale. See how much more easily my arms move overhead? Breath is important.